Good morning, boys and girls, and it is Friday. It's the last day before midterm break. And goodness me, haven't you earned this break? Both you and your mummies and daddies and all the grown-ups at home who have worked so hard over these last few weeks and have done all the things that I've asked you to do. You've done your written work, you've done your accelerated reading, you've done your sum dog. And so I am very pleased and very, very proud of each and every one of you. And I want to say thank you to you and to your mummies and daddies as well. So just before we go on our break, let's look at our Friday work. And today's date is Friday, the 12th of February, 2021. Friday, the 12th of February, 2021. And let's have a quick look through our spellings. Of course, on Friday, it's spelling test day, so try your best to get a spelling test done today. So let's have another look through the words just before you do. And you can say them before me, of course. Jar, jelly, jeep, jail, gym, germ, giant, age, page, large, ledge, bridge. Our sounds and focus we've already looked through, so let's move on to our literacy. Today in our literacy we are doing our longer piece of writing, and we're well used to this by now. Today your picture is of a farm scene. So you're going to look carefully through the picture and pick out some things that you would like to write about. Okay, so let's see what we can see. We can see a cow behind a fence. We can see ducks on a pond with their little ducklings. We can see a little cat waiting by the door. We can see a dog in the middle of the farm, probably waiting excitedly for the farmer to come out. We can see a tractor in the middle of this country lane. Looks like a John Deere tractor to me. And we can see blue skies and trees around as well. And you can see that the country lane looks like a muddy lane. It's not like a proper road, it's just a little lane. So there's lots of things to write about there. And of course you can use your imagination as well. You could say things like, the cat is waiting eagerly at the door, hoping for a saucer of milk. The dog can't wait to get started on the farm. He is waiting for his master, the farmer, to come outside. You could say the ducklings are having fun by the pond with the mother duck. So you can use your imagination as well, okay, to write about this farm scene, all right? In our maths today, we are looking at Carroll diagrams. And Carroll diagrams help us to sort information into groups. Now, sometimes they can have 4 groups, 6 groups, but we're going to start off by looking at 2 groups. So you'll see these children are sorting out 2D shapes, flat shapes, and they're sorting them into groups, 2 groups. Groups that have shapes that have 4 sides, and then the rest of the shapes, anything that doesn't have 4 sides. So I'm sure you can think of some shapes that have 4 sides. You could maybe spot them here in this group of shapes. A square would have 4 sides, wouldn't it? And a rectangle. And a diamond. Can you remember the Q word we used to talk about in school that referred to a shape with 4 sides? And it began with Q-U. Quadrilateral. Do you remember that? Any shape with 4 sides is called a quadrilateral. And I always remember it because a quad bike has 4 wheels, and a quadrilateral is any shape with 4 sides. So question 1 asks you to sort a set of flat shapes into 2 sets. Now, we won't have flat shapes at home, or it's very unlikely that we'll have lots of flat shapes at home. So we're going to move on to question B, where it asks you to draw shapes in a diagram like this. So you have to draw out a little Carroll diagram like this with 2 columns and 2 headings, 4 sides and not 4 sides. And I just want you to quickly sketch or draw any little shapes that you can think of that have 4 sides and then draw some shapes that do not have 4 sides. Okay, so about 3 or 4 of each. All right, so one of these would be a square, wouldn't it? And one of these without 4 sides could be, for example, a circle. All right. Then for part C, you write the names of the shapes that you've drawn here. The names of the shapes that have 4 sides. So you're going to be writing the word square. You're going to be writing rectangle. What else could you write? For question 2, we're going to skip part A as well because you need lots of flat shapes for that. And we're going to move on to part B, which asks you to draw out this Carol diagram. So you might need a ruler to help you to draw this diagram. And you're going to draw shapes in each box. So let me show you how this works. So, vertices are mentioned. Can you remember what vertices are? We talked about it in school, but now it was a little while ago, so you might forget. Vertices are the corner points, the pointy bits on these 2D shapes. So all your corners are your vertices. Now, how many vertices are there on a rectangle? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many vertices are in this hexagon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are our vertices. And then the other sorting criteria is the length of the sides. So all sides the same length, all sides not the same length because they put a red line through it, okay? So, listen carefully because this can get confusing. You're going to look at these shapes and try to draw them in one of these boxes according to these criteria. So if the shape has all sides the same length and it has 4 corners, 4 vertices, you draw it here. Okay, so for example, a square. So that one would go here. You could draw a little green square in here. If your shape has all sides the same length, but it doesn't have 4 corners, 4 vertices, you would draw it here. So for example, your hexagon. All the sides are the same length, but it doesn't have 4 corners. It has 6. So you would draw it here. Now let's go down to the second row. If your shape has sides that are different lengths, all sides not the same length, and it has 4 corners, it would go here. So you could draw an irregular shape for that box, something like this, which is kind of like a diamond, but these lengths are different lengths from these, so all the sides are not the same length. But it does have 4 corners, 2, 3, 4, see? So it could go into this box where it has 4 vertices, but not all sides are the same length. Now let's look at the last box. All sides are the same length, but it does not have 4 vertices. So all sides not the same length, and it does not have 4 vertices, is what I should say. So for that one, you could draw some irregular triangles where the sides are different lengths. So these two are the same, but this one's different. And it doesn't have 4 corners. So that would be an example of a shape where the sides aren't the same length and it doesn't have 4 corners. So that would go into the last box here. So take care with reading your diagram. Remember, you have to read this side and this side together, then this and this together, this and this together, and then this one and this one together. And just draw about 2 shapes in each box. Then in the final question, part C, you are asked to name a shape that has 4 vertices, 4 corners, and all sides the same length. Now there is a very common shape that has 4 corners and all sides the same length. So you could write the name of it. It begins with S. Then name a shape which does not have 4 vertices and does not have all sides the same length. So you could mention those triangles we were talking about. As long as it's not an equilateral triangle where all 3 sides are the same length. But you could say an isosceles triangle or a scalene triangle. You can decide for yourself, all right? So boys and girls, that's our written work for today. Carry on with your accelerated reading if you can and your sum dog. And then you can put the books away for a week have a well-earned midterm break, and I'll see you again on Monday the 22nd of February. See you then. Bye-bye.